Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining our live demo today. I am so excited for you to see the newest offering on our platform, OutMatch Simulation. So OutMatch Simulation comes to us from the recent acquisition of a company called First Person. This is the simulation we're building onto the OutMatch platform. I wanted to get OutMatch customers together, including new customers from Checkster and Launchpad, to see how this solution works and where it fits with other OutMatch tools you're using. With me today, I have Trevor, our simulation product expert, and Jeff First, the founder and CEO of First Person. Jeff is going to give some background on simulations, and then Trevor is going to jump into the live demo. If you have any questions along the way, please chat in and we'll answer at the end of the session, or we'll follow up with you after. And then at the very end, we'll let you know how you can get a one-on-one demo if you're interested in learning more. So now, without further ado, I'll hand it over to you, Jeff, to get us started.
Thanks, Brianna. Thank you, everybody. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. As Brianna mentioned, I'm Jeff First. I started First Person in the late 1990s, and we were recently acquired by OutMatch in October. It's been a wonderful journey so far. So Trevor and I are looking forward to spending a few minutes with you to discuss the simulation product. If we want to advance to the next slide. So just to touch on a very high level with OutMatch, we're really focused on helping you drive better outcomes, our people outcomes, hiring outcomes through our talent decision platform. And as you've learned through the different webinars, this platform covers many different areas, from a quick apply process to other types of assessments to video interviewing to reference check and to a culture fit. Today, we're going to focus primarily on the simulation product. So I'm going to give you some background on the simulation. Why did we build a simulation? How did we get here? What were some of the business issues? And then I'll go over a little bit about the product, but then Trevor is really going to take you through the core details and actually showcase a version of the simulation. So back in 2004, we were doing a lot of work with helping organizations think about hiring into contact center roles. And we were really trying to focus on answering some critical questions that we were facing. The first thing we observed was that many candidates didn't really understand what it meant to work in a contact center. Contact centers are high pressure environments, a lot of multitasking, so on and so forth. So we wanted to figure out a way to help them understand what the job was really like. So that was the first thing we were trying to accomplish. The second thing we wanted to accomplish was the multitasking, right? So to be successful in a contact center, you really have to have a certain core capability around multitasking. You can't just wave the magic wand during training and all of a sudden somebody is a better multitasker. You really need to hire somebody who has that core ability when they come into the job, and then you can help them get better. But what we found is that individuals who didn't have that multitasking capability started to struggle during training. And by struggling in training, they weren't learning the materials about your business, they weren't learning the call handling procedures. And once they actually, if they made it into production, they really then struggle from a production standpoint. So we wanted to figure out a way to how we can measure that multitasking component. And then the next thing we were looking at was that candidate journey. So again, this is back in 2004. So the world we live in today is very different from a candidate experience standpoint in the toolkit. But we were starting to obviously use computers, and at that point, candidates could take assessments through their computer at home, so that the internet connections were starting to get better. And so we really wanted to kind of capitalize on that technology opportunity. So we wanted to do something that really made the candidate journey fun. And that's where we felt like a simulation kind of concept would be interactive and immersive. And so these were kind of the baseline questions we were trying to figure out way back in 2004 when we started to build out the first simulation product. So today we have a broad platform of different types of simulations. We look at areas around the voice conversation all the way to the chat conversation, from service to support to sales. So if you think about the different types of interactions, we're able to now have a simulation tool that kind of covers these areas. And it's been interesting over time as we think about different roles. For example, chat in particular, a lot of discussion 5-6 years ago about chat, but now that chat channel is really expanding, and we're seeing a lot of interest from customers around how to capitalize on measuring for chat, because it is a very complex, role from that standpoint. So at a very high level, the OutMatch simulations kind of cover some similar areas, and I'll let Trevor go into more detail here in a second. But we try to keep them as brief as possible, although it's really important to make sure we measure the right components. So we range in 8 to 20 minutes in terms of overall candidate experience time. They do provide a realistic job preview around kind of the basic elements of what that contact center role is like. They're very strong at predicting job performance, and candidates like them. They rate them well, they enjoy them. We get great feedback from candidates about experience, and they are interactive. So it's not a traditional kind of multiple choice experience. They're back and forth, they're engaging, they have to pay a lot of attention, as you'll see here during the demo, around what the customer is saying to them, the system, and how they navigate. So it creates a very interactive process, which again is engaging, and that candidate tends to like it. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Trevor and let him take over and give you some more information about the simulation products, as well as take you through a demo.
Give me just a sec to share my screen. Can everybody see it? All right, we're good to go. So what are we talking about with simulations? It's a skill-based assessment that, like Jeff was saying, gives you an opportunity to really show your job performance, really linking their application and performance to the job so that you can be confident that what we're predicting is going to relate directly to the job. And our current suite of simulations is focused on high volume contact centers, and we support, as Jeff was saying, all the different types of roles that you might see in there, customer support, sales, and having the phone and chat support. So let's look at some of the reasons that simulations are useful. So it gives you that realistic job preview. So that this gives the candidates an experience of what it's going to be like in the job. It gives them, like I said, the chance to show off those job relevant skills. And then the managers can be confident in strong performers coming out of the simulation, that they'll have strong on the job performance as well. So here again are the contexts that we currently support: customer service, sales, chat, and tech support. So this underlying scoring that we're measuring, the skills that we're measuring, are computer ability, multitasking, information accuracy, and sales and service orientation. And our team of psychologists have identified these as the main competencies that are necessary to be successful in contact center roles. And then these are the the metrics that you care about, the customers, with average handle time, customer satisfaction, and attrition. The simulations are very good at predicting these for the on-the-job actual data, as well as employee happiness in the roles themselves. All right, let's go into some of the details. So like I said, measures on-the-job performance, their communication skills, and the relevant competencies to the job. We actually integrate training into the simulations. So rather than having them go into an experience that they don't know what they're doing in a new application, we walk them through and train them on the system they're going to be using, so that they have the best opportunity to show what they can do. We use realistic interactions. So all of the interactions that we have with customers in the simulations are based on real job observation and focus groups to make sure that we have interactions very representative of realistic job scenarios. The interface that we created is job accurate, based on working with customers. The scoring is very deep. And what I mean by that is rather than having, multiple choice or just correct, incorrect, there's a series of metrics that we track as somebody goes through the experience, like timers and accuracy with data, so that we can, rather than just getting a bunch of correct, incorrect pieces, we're measuring everything that they do and that they don't do, to come to create a final score. And again, very, very predictive, of all the tools that we've seen in the market. This is by far the most predictive for that job performance and satisfaction. And we have multiple languages. I think it depends on which sim, but we have English, Spanish, French, and for our tech sim, we have a lot more than that. And then we're working on custom branding and content options as well. And from there, I'll take you guys into the demo. All right. Let me just change my audio device so you guys can hear it quick. Okay. Should be good to go now.
Good
So you have to
afternoon, and thank
answer
you
the
for
call.
calling. My name is Pat. How may I help you?
I'm calling to follow up on an order I placed last month.
I'd be happy to help you with that. Do you have your order number with you?
Yes, I do. It's 85353.
So here, started the call, got the order number.
Great,
Pull
thank
up
you.
the
Let me pull
customer's
up your account information first. Am I speaking with Robert Bell?
Yes, isn't that what it says on my account?
And then, so this is an example of how you can measure the candidate's customer service focus, where we have some responses here that any of them could be correct, but based on our research, there is an answer that's better than the others. And in some of our sims, we'll have it in a way that they're ranked where there's a worst option and there's a best option, and then some of them are in between as well.
Yes, it is, Mr. Robert M. Bell. I just want to make sure you aren't trying to access someone else's information. Is that a problem?
No, that's fine. I just want you to find a resolution to my issue.
I understand. Could you explain the issue to me?
I placed this order online a few weeks ago, and I have yet to see it. It was promised to be in my office in 5 to 7 days. I called your center recently, and supposedly it was taken care of, but the package has still not arrived.
I see. I apologize for the long delay. Let me check your order information to see where the problem might be.
So now we're going into a part of the sim where you have to research what's happening in the person's account, specifically in this case with their orders. But just to give you a little peek into the different things that you can do in the system here, we have payment and invoice information. We have
Let
their
me see
orders
if there is
page.
proof of delivery available for this shipment. Bear with me one moment.
And then we also have the knowledge bank where you can search for anything that might be relevant to the customer's experience. So right now, we're looking at their most recent order.
Let me see if there is proof of delivery available for this shipment. Bear with me one moment. I show that your package was successfully delivered on the 16th to 400 South 6th Street, Orlando, Florida, 72101. Was this where you wanted it shipped?
Yes, to Suite 210.
So here we found that the customer's package didn't go to the right address, so we'll have to go through resolving that. But that should give you a taste of what the experience is like, the different tools at their fingertips in the system. But we'll go into the chat simulation now to give you guys a taste of that one as well. So in this one, for a chat role, we have to set ourselves to available to start getting chat support requests. And then up here, we'll start seeing customers come in that need help. And you'll see the UI is a little bit different for this one. It's all chat based, so you have the customer conversation here on the left, and you can see I've already got another customer that's coming in that needs help. So this sim is very good at the multitasking aspect of the chat support, where you have multiple conversations going on at the same time that you're trying to resolve for both customers. And we also include some common things from a real work scenario where, they're automated messages that, or standard messages that you might want to use. And this has gone over in the training portion of the sim. We introduced that you can press Control K for a greeting message and Control L for
It looks
ending
like the
the chat.
suite number was not included in the shipping address, so you never.
Sorry, I'll mute that one. So we can do Control K, and then we get this automated message. And then here, we're at a step where we're still in the greeting stage of the conversation. So we want to open with a little friendly conversation. And then here again, another situation where we're looking at the best way to open the conversation about supporting them. And then here we're seeing a situation where we get an automated response, but it has the customer name tag. So we look for them to put in the customer's name so that we can be a little bit more friendly and personable. And so this is similar to the other sim where we have the account information here. We have a list of invoices. We have a knowledge base that you can, again, search for anything related to the customer situation. And then we also have, for this one, we have a login reset for account support for any customers that might need that. And I think that's roughly it. There's a bunch of steps that you have to go through using the tools at your fingertips. But I think this gives you guys a good taste of the experience. But I think we're ready to open up to questions.
All right, thank you so much, Trevor. I'm gonna switch back to our slide deck, and we will absolutely hang on the line if there are any questions. So if you have anything that you want to ask Jeff or Trevor, get your question now, and we'll just go through a few last things before we close out today. Jeff, do you want to share, I know this was a quote that we got from a candidate, so someone actually going through the simulation experience. Do you want to share a little bit about this type of feedback that you've gotten?
Sure, happy to do so. So one of the things we will typically do through the process, so this includes all the different assessment tools being used to evaluate a candidate. We do a survey, and we ask that job candidate to rate their experience, and this is information we can then pass back to you as the hiring organization and hiring team. So one of the things we've done over the years is collect information from job candidates about the simulation experience, and normally the surveys are done like on a 1 through 5 scale, and normally the scores related to the experience are usually in the 4.5, 4.6, 4.4 range in terms of their feedback. So it's very, very highly rated experience. So this is we also then sometimes ask opportunity for the candidates to write a little summary of their, what did they think, right? And so this is an example from a job candidate who went through and is basically commenting on the multitasking and how it was representative working as a customer service representative for the particular company they were applying to. So we do this for a couple of reasons. One, it's great just to get that candidate feedback to see how we can improve the process and the tools. Two, it helps to reinforce the branding experience that you're delivering back to the job candidates. Again, this is all designed to be seamless with your brand image, recruiting message, so on and so forth. So we want to make sure that we're delivering a very positive candidate journey on your behalf. So this type of information really works well to help share back to you as the customer.
Yeah, I know the candidate experience is really important to all our clients. And what I hear specifically from clients that have these big contact centers is, there's all sorts of challenges in this type of hiring. It's high volume, it's high turnover, it's entry level. And what I hear clients saying is that there's really nothing, if you're hiring somebody who's never done this role before, there's really nothing to look at, right? What experience are you looking at? Kind of a traditional recruiting process. If you weren't doing an assessment or a simulation, like what is it you're looking for? How are you going to know if someone's going to be successful? And on the flip side, a candidate who's never done this job before doesn't know that they're going to like it, right? They don't know that they're going to succeed. They don't know that if they're going to face burnout in a couple weeks or a couple months. And so it's really crucial for both sides to have that opportunity to really understand how good of a fit it is.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Brianne. I mean, we had a customer once say to us, availability is not a skill set. So so it's really important to evaluate candidates, and especially like you said in the contact center role, how are you going to measure that multitasking? How are you going to paint the picture of what the job is? Really what we're trying to do here is give the candidate opportunity to play the part. I mean, Trevor went through and showed, a couple of examples, and while they're generalized experiences, the important thing to understand is we're measuring core competencies, and Trevor shared some of those with everybody in terms of multitasking, accuracy, navigation, so on and so forth. That's the important thing to understand, what we're that measurement component, and then ultimately that's going to lead to predictive hiring, right? At the end of the day, we'll be able to understand, is this candidate going to perform better on the job? Or is their call handling capability going to be a little bit faster? Are they going to be maybe handle issues in a quicker manner, so on and so forth?
That's a really great segue into a question we have here, which is, what is your scoring methodology?
It's a great question. I don't know if we have enough time to go through it all in depth, but so Trev, I'll kick off maybe one or two concepts, and if you want to jump in with some details. So the first thing we're doing from a scoring standpoint, I think this is an important thing to understand about the way we look at the simulations, is they're dynamic. In other words, it's not, hey, here's the situation, do one thing, make another decision. Hopefully you saw when Trevor was going through the demo, and I realize it's a demo, so it's a little bit hard to kind of get the sense of this, but the candidate is actually doing many things at the same time. So you have this kind of multiple interactions, and then there's numerous timers, in some cases well over 100 timers that are running in the background that are capturing each data point. So how quickly the candidate's moving from field A to field B to field C, the accuracy of that information is being put in. So we're collecting all this raw data as they go through the simulation, which then gets fed into different algorithms that are measuring those specific scales. There's a lot of fancy math that then happens on the back end to convert those into numerical scores. So we can have a simple pass-fail. We could put different ranges, kind of meets, exceeds, or below. We have some crazy ideas that some customers come up with in terms of how they want to score things, or we can even just assign a simple numerical kind of output. Trevor, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, it gets very complex, everything that we're measuring. But yeah, we have well-researched algorithms that we put together to combine all those data points into a meaningful score at the end of the day.
Right, and the other thing is to build on the product's been through validation phases. Obviously, when we first built it, so we're looking at things like reliability, we're looking at things around adverse impact, and so all that, and then numerous local validations with many customers over the last 15 years or so, more than I can recall at this point. And in each of those cases, we're looking at the score, the assessment scores, and comparing that to various performance KPIs or turnover data. Back in 2005, it was all about average handle time, because that's all everybody cared about. Today, it's really about customer satisfaction, net promoter, some productivity metrics if you're looking more like those outlier kind of components. So those performance metrics really range and are obviously driven by customers, but we have technical manuals and things like that we're happy to share to kind of give you more details about how the tool is constructed and how the scoring is actually measuring candidates.
Yeah, thank you. That's helpful. I have another question here. Trevor, did you want to add something?
Yeah, just one thing that I didn't touch on during the demo. We have the option when there's some audio that plays. If you missed it, or you have to listen to it again because you missed the number that they said or something like that you have to type in. That's a case where we're measuring your ability to multitask, to listen and enter information at the same time. But we also give them the opportunity to replay the audio as if they were asking the customer to repeat something that they said. And that's another part of our scoring, where we'll track the number of times that they use those repeats, and the time it takes to enter any of that information.
Gotcha. Okay, so here's another question. Let's see. It was about industry-specific items. So is there anything specific for call centers versus retail, et cetera?
Great question. So these are primarily focused on contact center, call center type roles. On our product roadmap, we are looking at expanding the simulation family into other areas. Retail is an important one for us. So if love to actually talk with you afterwards and get your feedback on what you're looking for in terms of retail simulation. We have Trevor leads a great team, and as part of a great team here at OutMatch around product development. So we have a lot of ideas around what we think this retail simulation should look like, but obviously getting feedback directly from customers on what they're looking for, the experience you're trying to drive, so on and so forth is super helpful. So while we don't have one kind of ready to go today, we are actively looking at creating one for our customer base, because we do have a wonderful retail customer base within the OutMatch family.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do one last question here, and then we'll just move to our final slide. Can this be done along with the assessment we currently have in place? And so I'll go ahead and say absolutely. I mean, that's the reason we're putting these measurements and these tools all together in a single platform. But Jeff, I'll hand that over to you so you can elaborate.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I mean, you want to think about the experience, and we always talk about different things. When you think about success, whether it's a contact center or any role that you might be hiring for, there's different things we want to measure. The first one would be around like this, work skills, right? And then there's the personality, behavioral component that the assess product, for example, measures. And then there's different add-ons you could get into from problem solving, cognitive elements, so on and so forth. So as you kind of think about all the different, that holistic measurement, it's really important to put together a portfolio of assessments that are going to give you that right measurement. And then you add video interviewing and other capabilities that the platform has. You get a really well-rounded approach to that candidate evaluation. And then later on, whether you're looking at reference checking or downstream insights you're capturing to kind of reinforce the whole process. So absolutely, we can put this all together in one bundle for you. So easy to do.
Yeah, and I'll add, I mean, having an assessment on the front end, you can create any workflow or a number of workflows that works for your specific use case. But if you were to put, that behavioral or personality assessment at the front, then you would have a short list of candidates, maybe, and those are the ones you invite to the simulation. That way you're not putting a giant group through simulation, and you can use that as a way to create priority order for the steps kind of following.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, thank you so much, Jeff. Thank you so much, Trevor. Thank you to everyone listening in. I hope you enjoyed learning about our new simulation and seeing our new simulation in action. So if it is something you're looking for, something you're interested in adding to your recruitment process in 2021, please come to us. We can answer any questions that you have, because you're already a customer of OutMatch. So not only are we someone, hopefully, that you trust and and you've worked with before, But there's other reasons as well to add solutions through us. It's going to be more cost effective. It's absolutely going to be easier to manage all of this through one vendor, quicker to implement with us. And what we're doing with our technology on the back end is really making it work seamlessly together. So rather than just relying on some integrations and some APIs to make this work, you're going to have really one process, one workflow, one experience, start to finish, and we can help you do that. So as I close the webinar, you'll see a survey pop up on your screen. If you want to learn more in a one-on-one demo, just let us know, say yes to that survey, and we will reach out to you afterwards. Thank you so much,
Great.
everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.